It's up for grabs now!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it!
Fabulous solo goal by pierre-emerick.
Champions.
That's weird. Are you hearing that too?
I think
Well,
you
no,
did.
too.
all good on
Man.
this side.
Man,
Yeah, I
that
can
was
hear you.
weird. Anyway, welcome to the Fan Cam Friday. Yeah, I'm hearing some sort of echo my way, so I don't know what's going on.
Let me mute and see if it's.
Let's have a look. Can you not hear that?
I think it's a bit better now. Not hearing any feedback. You're on mute. You both are on mute.
Yeah. Can you? Is it me?
No,
I
it's
think we're all right now.
gone. We're good.
Yes, it's gone. Sorry about that. Lovely, smooth start.
It happens, man.
So smooth, man. Smooth, bro. Smooth. Anyway, welcome to Arsenal Lounge Friday Fan Camp. Don't know what's going on. The dream team, everyone's saying more like nightmare at the moment. I don't know what the hell's going on here. So I'm going to take my headphones out. I'm just going to go with this for a second, yeah. So welcome again. We've got a couple of the usual guests now. Hopefully, long termers. We've got Albert, who's everywhere. So if you flip your screen, you flip your channels everywhere. Albert JTV in the house. How you doing?
Yeah, good, man. Good. I did a live Q&A on my channel a couple of hours ago now, so now it's good. Lot of interaction.
Right, and also it's good. And listen, bruv, I'm really struggling because I'm getting some feedback. So what I might do is let you two continue, log out, come back in, yeah? Because I'm hearing you like over and over again. So African, can you take over for a second for everyone else, and I'll come back in, yeah?
100%. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Obviously, Albert, the last time we chatted was before the West Ham game. So obviously that's where we need to start. International break this week, which I hate, obviously, because there's no Arsenal game and it's quite boring. And I think I've gotten to the age where I don't watch it. It's not, before we actually used to have Arsenal players actually playing, in big games. I think now we don't have as many international players as we would like. So I guess we can start with how you felt with the West Ham game.
Just touch on the international break quickly. To be honest, okay. I actually don't mind it, because sometimes you just need a break from Arsenal, man. I'm just like you do. Like I remember, the international breaks, the last couple we've had. I've been thankful that we've had them. To be honest with you, I just sometimes you need a little bit of a detox away from Arsenal and just give yourself a bit of time and recuperate. Because when they're not winning, it's not enjoyable, man. So
I went away for 2 minutes, man, and you lot talking about England and shit. What's going on?
not England, just the international break.
International break, really?
Yeah.
Are you actually looking forward to the international break?
No, I don't mind it. Like to recuperate from Arsenal.
Has anyone here watched any of the England games?
No. What I was mentioning to Albert is that in the past we actually used to watch it because our players actually were good enough and started in the international teams, whereas now we kind of have bit players in most of the international teams. And I mean, Aubameyang, Pepe, come on, they're playing for quite small, countries and stuff. So it's not the best of games to watch and it's not exciting. But I agree with Albert. I mean, one part of the international break that I enjoy is definitely being able to scout players that we want. That's the one thing that I enjoy doing. But apart from that, it's a good break from Arsenal. I was going to say to Albert, if we had lost against West Ham, it would have been a terrible time to have gone into an international break. So we kind of saved ourselves by, saving face and drawing that game. And so it wasn't too bad, because I think if we had lost that game and then this international break happened, there was going to be too much chaos with the fan base, more questions. And there's that gap of space of time where we get to discuss and, it starts to build up. And especially those fan channels or just YouTube channels that want to focus on the negative things, they get traction because people just watch it. They have time to watch it, and there's that space. So yeah, I'm glad that we're going in with, I guess, a neutral feeling. And yeah, I guess we can touch on that West Ham game.
See, I think personally, this current crop of England players is probably the best we've had in a long while since the golden generation. But I'm just not excited by Southgate. I'm not excited. It's like, I don't know. It's like giving your granddad a sports car like a Ferrari and just saying, go with it. Go and look cool with it. And I just don't think he possesses what's required for that team. It would be nice if you can get someone like Wenger to run it. That would be interesting. But anyway, we'll talk about that in another show maybe. Hello to everyone. Sorry about the really, really weird start. I was hearing myself twice. It's bad enough hearing myself once. So I had to come back in, and it's all fixed itself. So these guys couldn't hear it. So hello to Aslan, Amu, Enrico, Seb, Arsene Wenger. Can't wait for this. You had to wait a bit for it, mate. But we'll crack on and see what we can talk about in regards to the West Ham game, boys. What was our predictions from the last game? From the last show? What was our prediction?
I went for a 1-1.
You went for 1-1. I went for a win. I think I said 2-1. That was my prediction.
I went crazy. I went 3-0, wasn't it? I went 3-0.
Yeah.
Well, I got 3-0 in second half. We won the second half 3-0. But
no, we won the second half 2-0. But yeah, we scored.
Well, kind of. Yeah, we did actually. Yeah. We scored the first one in the first half towards the back end. Yeah, you're right. So the game. Talk to me about it. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, guys, because first half, I just thought we were just gonna after. It was weird because we started really slow. I didn't see us pressing at all. There was no high press whatsoever. It just looked slow. It looked like we just letting them have the ball, and I just couldn't get my head around the performance. And then the way those goals went in, it was like they weren't even trying. They were scoring without even trying. It was like, oh look, the Lingard one I could accept. It was a great finish. You could give it that. Although I think it should be shut down sooner. But then the second one, everyone turned their back on it. Even Tierney. Even Tierney was at fault. And then Leno was at fault because that shouldn't have gone in the near post, in my opinion. I don't know. It was a weird performance. And then even the way we lined up, he took players out. I don't think he should have taken out. I don't think he should have taken Gabriel out at all. I think he's one of our best defenders, if not the best. I think Winterburn's come out today and said he's our best defender. He's taken out Emil Smith-Rowe. He's taken out quite a few players, and it didn't work. But then the argument is, second half, he's obviously taken them in and had a right go at them, and they've come out with a reaction second half. So we did have that positive, and when we drew, it felt like a relief. But then I still felt like shit. So I don't know. It was a weird one, but I'd like to hear you boys.
Cool. I see Albert's on mute, so that means that he wants me to go first, and I'll definitely
Is that what I mean? Is that some sort of code you lot have got going?
Yeah, it's some code, some elite level code. You gotta have.
I don't know about these things, man.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, I'll go first. I think, yeah, as you said, Lev, we started off really slow. It felt super weird. I was quite excited. As you said, I wasn't happy with the lineup. I think we've mentioned this, and I personally have mentioned this quite a few times. I thought this was the time Martinelli has to start. I've been saying that for a couple of weeks now. So each game further, I keep saying, okay, this has to be the game. This has to be the game. And Aubameyang had two really poor performances, or actually one poor performance against Olympiacos, and the other one, he showed up late. So I didn't think he deserved to start, and I was right about that. I mean, he had an appalling game. We'll touch on that a bit later. And I guess, yeah, as you said, I mean, the other two for me, I remember I did say I wanted Mari to start, and he did start, but I mean, yeah, I wasn't quite happy when I saw his performance. I think David Luiz and him were just, they didn't play well.
That's on you. That
well, yeah.
You said you wanted Mari to start, right? I was saying to keep Gabriel in, yeah? Well, even in training, I was watching the training footage just today, and Balogun just out-muscled Mari to the ground and nearly scored. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that, and it's interesting that we're actually showing a lot of Balogun highlights, because it was quite focused on him and Martinelli and Reece Nelson. So that's interesting, because if he's going to be leaving, then why are you doing this to us fans? Like, why are you showing us how good he is, right? It kind of hurts the heart. But I mean, yeah, so Mari didn't play really well at all. And I think the other one was Chambers. And I know that he did quite well, but I just didn't understand that. Why? Like, Cedric has been playing well. And, when we rotate Bellerin, then Cedric is expected to play, because now we're going to see Cedric out of the team for 2-3 weeks and Chambers to play. And then when Cedric going to come back in the team? And when he does come back in the team, he's going to lose like confidence and stuff. So that's the kind of initial assessment. I wasn't happy with it. And I was shocked, man. When they scored those 3 goals, I couldn't believe it. Like 3 goals in 20-something minutes. I knew I was going on AFTV, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so embarrassing, like in front of the whole world, or like we're just about to get smashed. And yeah, I mean,
was
to be quite honest,
this the game before? This was your, all right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I was just like crying, and I was like, come on.
And then
man,
he was
like,
thinking, oh, if we lose the views and all of that.
Well, not about that. I mean, I wanted to be happy, obviously, and be positive. And I mean, I obviously at the end I was, but I mean, initially I thought it was going to be disaster. Let's touch on the goals. The first goal, as we said, I think Chambers does really bad, and David Luiz does really bad. You know, in that corner, I agree. Antonio, we spoke about him. He's a powerhouse. He's a monster, but that's not an excuse. They get 1-2'd. They get completely roasted on that side, and Antonio completely takes advantage of them. And then you're right. Jesse Lingard, although an incredible finish, I mean, he has way too much space. And I'm sorry. I watched Xhaka. He's backing off. That's his player. He should have been in front of them, because him or Partey, either or, they should have been blocking that shot. And everyone was just in the defensive box. They were just ball watching. They weren't marking their man. And we suffered from a really good goal. And then the second goal, I mean, listen, I think it shouldn't be allowed because it was taken in the wrong position. But some of these things happen, and if it happened to us, we wouldn't be complaining, right?
Well, Henry did it one time, didn't he? Took an early free kick and scored, didn't he?
100%. We would say that it's great initiative on our team to actually be proactive and play the ball fast. We haven't seen that in a long time. And I think our team is switched off because we haven't seen something like that for quite a long time. And not only Arsenal games, I think in even other games, our rival games, I haven't seen something like that in a while. So it's kind of like they've forgotten in this lockdown period that you can actually still do that, right? So we switched off, and then bang, goal. Leno does really poorly. There's no excuse for that. There's no way that should be going in. He should be pushing that for a corner. And then, and I guess, in the second half, I think Odegaard absolutely runs the show. Was phenomenal, absolute class. Ridiculous. And I come back to the point where I said he's better than Smith Rowe. I told you guys, and you guys were kind of giving me a little bit of slack, but I think he's absolutely
too early to make that assumption. Smith Rowe is still a young kid, man.
Yeah, but they're both the same age. So for me, he's just more of a well-rounded player. He just has everything. He works hard. He can create. He does everything. He presses. He communicates. He's a leader. He has everything. I mean, this is like Mesut Ozil like times 10. He's like, no one's talking about Mesut Ozil. This is the player we've been looking for so long, man. And he's doing everything we wanted Mesut Ozil to do. And you have to give him credit for that. The only issue is I'm scared that if he continues to perform like this, we're going to get outpriced. Like, they're just going to have a 50 million price tag on him because they're going to know we want him. They're going to know we need him. And yeah, that's my only fear. But
I'm going to touch on that. I'm going to touch on that because there's been some stuff in the news about that as well. So, and I've got some clippings that we can have a look at. But with regards to Odegaard, you're right. He was amazing. He took the game by the scruff of the neck. We haven't had a player like that in ages. I mean, the last one you could say was probably even when we had Ozil, Sanchez. I haven't seen him take. Yeah, Sanchez, and you could say Fabregas before him would do it. Get that ball and really dictate. You mentioned Smith Rowe and him. I think they're two different players, personally.
Yeah.
I think Smith Rowe likes to drive beyond the lines, and he's got a bit more going forward than maybe Odegaard does. I think they could play in that middle potentially together in the future, personally. But Albert, I'd like to hear your views, and also a couple of things I'd like to touch on as well is I'd like to hear what you thought of Partey in the midfield, along with Xhaka as well, because it's weird how people see it. Some people think that Partey had a good game. Some people think he was off the pace. I certainly think he's not quite there yet, and I think he struggled a little bit with the pace of the game at times. What was your thought of the game and what I've just sort of mentioned?
Just touch on the latter part. You're talking about Partey. I think it's a good question. You're right. It's amazing what people kind of see, because I've spoken to a lot of people that don't think there's a lot of games where he hasn't played that well. I agree with him. Whether it's a case of it's the injury or, like you said, he's adapting to the pace. But yeah, there's a couple of games left. I'm like, I must be watching a different Thomas Partey, because I don't think he's played that well at all. But
yeah, he's getting caught on the ball, out-muscled at times. No, I think he's used to being the monster in the midfield. In La Liga, you could get he was the beast. I think the Prem is a physical league, and sometimes he's not learnt that. At times he's not going to be able to outmuscle somebody and hold on and shift it around a few times, pivot and then knock it out wide. Sometimes he's going to get outmuscled if he doesn't move quick enough. Yeah,
I just hope he hasn't caught like Arsenal syndrome of giving the ball.
Lost his mojo.
But no, hopefully, you know what? Yeah, maybe it's just a timing thing, Les, with him. But in regards to the game, oh my God, I mean, I said to people, you know, when people say that when Arsenal play on the Thursday, right, and they talk about tiredness and whatever. I'm not being funny. You can get the train right from Highbury and Islington straight to Trafford, which is about what 20, 30 minutes. So I don't know what jet lag they would have suffered against that game against West Ham, but yeah, Arsenal were like a light switch in that first 30 minutes. The light was off.
Yeah.
Everything was poor. I would even say probably ODEGAARD even stood out a little bit in the first half. We'll talk about the second half, but you know, the first goal I can kind of live with that. I can pick holes in it, obviously, but the second goal, I will never forgive that. You know, who
do you blame for the second goal? Like, I see a catalogue of errors.
I saw this. We saw the steal shot, right?
Yeah.
Saka's arguing the referee or debating with the referee.
Yeah.
Tierney, Xhaka, Partey, none of them were looking at the ball.
There's 3 or 4. Yeah.
Leno's got to see that, man. I don't think he was looking at the ball.
Yeah, but even if he was, surely his instinct should be to cover that near post, regardless.
Yeah.
No, he was there. He
was falling backwards and he fell onto his ass.
When you're a child, man, the first thing you're taught, man, is when you give away a free kick in that kind of area to stand on the ball or kick it away and take the other. But none of them done it. And I just thought, listen, these are professional footballers, man. Like, you should not be making errors like that in any game, as well as a London derby away to West Ham. But yeah, Leno's got to save that. I don't know what was going on there.
It is weird. And
even the third goal, I was looking at it. I was thinking, we know Antonio's good in the air, right? Fair enough. He bullied Luiz in it, but it wasn't that powerful a header. So I don't know. Did he have super glue on his feet, or
you think he was? I don't know if he was on the ground. Souček got a foot to it as well, didn't he? Souček.
Oh yeah.
It was Souček. So I don't think you could blame him for the third, but the defending for the third, you know that's their strength. Yeah. Right. Apparently, that's why you've put Chambers in as well for a bit more area.
For the height.
Yeah. So what's going on? Why so easy?
No, that's that's all on David Luiz, by the way, guys. Come on, come on. Chambers is not going to do anything. I'm
not saying that was Chambers.
Not that Luiz is like looking at Antonio running in, and then he can't even out jump him because the guy's running into the box and he's obviously going to out jump over you. You're not going to be able to jump because he's holding you down. It was like an easy goal, man. Pathetic.
Bro, I'm beginning to think you're a jinx when you come on, because like, you know, when you went on AFTV, you had a problem with your camera, right? I've come on my intro was screwed straight away, and then while you were talking there, you stopped for a second. You won't know this because you stopped for a second, you paused. And then you sped up for about. You saw that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I
don't know what to say. I have special powers. That's all I can accredit it to. You know, Arsenal should hire me. I get more lucky.
Oh, is it? He's always using it to like try and. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, there's that first 30 minutes, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, man. I thought, wow, like this is, and you know what? It could have, if we didn't get the goal. I'll give credit to West Ham, you know, but. They could have got more. I thought it was looking really, really peak, but we got the goal obviously just before half time or whenever it was. So we gave ourselves something, and then really from then going into the second half, the game changed. We play, to give Arsenal some credit. When you're 3-0 down away after 30 minutes, and I'm disappointed we didn't get the win, to be honest, mate. ODEGAARD was exceptional, and obviously we had Cafu, Chambers at right back. I mean, I mean,
he wasn't that good
when he was in the team.
He was good. He did have a good game.
He was good, but not Cafu worthy. Like mention.
Oh no, I think he's tongue in cheek.
Literally, yeah.
I think that was a bit tongue in cheek.
I can't believe you felt that one happened.
There's another debate about to happen. Yeah, it's not Cafu. Cafu or Chambers? We'll put the poll out soon.
Yeah, I see that flying around on the social media.
Albert, we'll say you started that.
I mean, it surprised me actually in terms of like from an attacking outlet where, we always talk about we only sort of get it from one side of the pitch with Tierney, but I mean, some of the crosses Callum Chambers was putting into the box, I was like, where's the strikers at, man?
Yeah.
But someone did say that maybe it's because the strikers normally don't really get good service coming from that side of the pitch. Maybe they wasn't ready, but I'm like,
Oh, come on, no.
I know.
I'm not
say-
making a run because I'm not used to getting a crossing, so I'm not going to make. You're
saw
getting
that
it from the
around.
other side.
Yeah.
Come on, like
Yeah,
I don't buy that. I mean, Bellerin does get in those positions, but his end product isn't good.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what we were seeing. Is maybe that's what they're not used to is a decent end product. Do you know what I mean?
But go on, sorry, mate. Go on.
No, but I was just gonna say PS in the game, I agree with you, but PS in the game before he didn't do any of that. He didn't show any of that, those crosses and stuff. So like, where's the consistency, right? He gets 2 games. The first game he was absolutely appalling in my eyes. I mean, he didn't put any of those crosses, and then the second game, I mean, yeah, you have to give him credit. He put all the crosses in, and an own goal is because of the great crosses. Had power, had everything, and I mean, the defender couldn't do much about it, right? And that's what we want. So
It frustrates me.
Where's the consistency?
It frustrates me because it's like when there was more or less in their heads, the game was done and they had to just go all out. They had no choice. Their mentality was so different. And we had belief and we just went for it, right? And how many misses? Even though you could say we drew 3-3, they did have their chance as well. But we had more than enough chances to put that game to bed. And yet again, Pepe on his right foot. Did you see that? On his right foot.
Yeah, I did see that.
Did you see it, African? He went
I've been telling you, and I mean, this guy, come on, man. Like, listen, I know Aslan said in the comments, don't go out and
Aslan,
but I mean, listen, I'll give him credit for the cross because it was a great cross, but let's get it right. That is expected from a player like him. It's not fantastic. It's just because now he's actually finally done what he's supposed to. People are like, oh my god, he's supposed to be doing that. Listen, it's a cross, and it was a good cross. That's all it is, really. And then for me,
we'd be so starved. That's what it is.
He gets 2 opportunities, right? And he's 1-on-1 with the keeper, and he shoots it straight at the keeper. 1, he's not strong enough to get that shot off properly because he has the defender on him. And then 2, I mean, he shoots it straight at the keeper or he gets it off target. And that's not good enough for a 72 million pound player, man. I mean, it's just, again, no consistency. He has the tricks in his pockets. I recently watched a video of his goals and assists, and he has some really good moves and some really good things. It's just not consistent enough, man. And it needs to be every other game minimum for a player of his standard. And we're not getting that from him.
No, we're not getting 72 million pounds worth of performance, are we, at the moment? For that, you want game changers and game winners. And we're not. He's not doing it. And Aubameyang was just terrible as well. I mean, all well and good. All well and good. You celebrating with your mates when we've scored and all of that. But
that's the main time. That's the main time we scored.
That's because they got him out of jail. Yeah,
I have 2 points on that. One, I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans saying like, when you make the comment, he doesn't care. People are like, oh, well, he would have never come and celebrated like that. First of all, rewatch the game, man. He was right. He just came off and he was literally standing right there. It's not like he ran all the way to celebrate with his teammates. It was just
hadn't run all game.
Yeah,
so that was,
right.
He hadn't run all game. That's what it was.
We celebrated with him, of course. It's natural. And then the second point is, can you guys answer for me why, when Aubameyang comes off, he never gives the captain's armband to anyone? I've never seen that before. I'm not even talking about Arsenal. I've never seen that in any team. A captain going off with the captain's armband, like that's unheard of. So why is it that keeps happening? I've seen it 3 times.
I've never noticed that.
Pass it on. I see it. I see it all the time. I pay attention to that.
See it. Yeah, I mean, that's a good. If you have seen it, that's a good point because that's what used to happen, isn't it? When one of our captains go off, they pass the responsibility 100%. For somebody else to carry it on, right? So why is it not happening? If that's the case?
Reason I pay attention is because I want to see who's going to get it, right? And I never see who gets it, and I see him walking off with it, and I'm like, what the hell? I want to know who's the vice captain, like if he goes off.
Yeah,
right. So interesting point.
No, mate, I'd noticed that. So it is a good point. But I mean, Odegaard's performance, as you touched on, African, for me, what stood out is it took the game by the scruff of the neck. And like we saw that 4 or 5 minute video clip that Arsenal started releasing now. What's it called? Hot cam or something cam or And it was the Odegaard this time. And you could see that he actually, the desire and the fact that he's trying to get everybody else involved and he's like pushing them on and he's always positive. He was, even when we were 3-1 down, he's positive. He's still pushing and pushing and he dragged us back into that game. But let's talk about Arteta's part in this then, because we haven't really spoken about it. Yeah, it's all well and good that we're sitting here saying poor performance, 3-0, etc. We were 3-1. We went to 3-1 and then we came back to the game. But should he have made those changes? And this was a point we made on Real Talk about a week or two ago. Every time we get to this point where we could get into the mix, that one game that takes you into the mix to maybe to fight for sixth or something like that, every single time we seem to blow it. And this was just another one of those. So is it a Mikel Arteta selection issue? Is it the players? And why? What's the mentality problem here?
You know what? It's just a mixture of a load of things. I mean, even with Aubameyang against West, I mean, I was shocked he stayed on for as long as he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have been hooked off a lot sooner.
15 minutes, even like if it wasn't happening.
Yeah, and I know what. Just to touch on the Leicester about the missed chances. I mean, even I remember Saka had a brilliant. He should have scored that in the first half.
Listen, he has credit in the bank, though, so we let that go. Yeah,
I mean, but we should have been missing these. Yeah,
chances. Of course. But he at least got it on target, I guess. I mean, I don't want to protect.
I also, to be honest, from there.
Yeah, no, of course. But we've seen some of our players like Gervinho and even Pepe just shoot it over the bar, right? So.
No,
Joel Campbell.
Yeah. I'll tell us, it's a tricky one, man. Because I mean, did you have an issue with the team lineup majorly? I mean, for me, the only obviously main surprise was Chambers. No one saw that coming.
Yeah, that was the biggest surprise. But I personally was like, Gabriel and Luiz were looking good. Why are you messing with that? You've got an international break.
Yeah.
Why not just go for it with your strongest team? That combination was working. Why did he change that? That's a pivotal area, no?
Yeah, I thought, and to be honest, I thought ESR would start as well. I had him in my sort of lineup to start. And I said, in terms of the centre-back pairing, keep your even if he's always going to change the fullbacks. I've given up trying to say he should stick with the same back four, but with the centre-backs in particular, to me, you should kind of give a bit more of a settled centre back pairing, and for at the moment it is those two of Luiz and Gabriel. So I was surprised he didn't start, to be honest with you. I just think it's a classic case again of Arteta where he doesn't make it easy on himself just by making that change even 5-10 minutes early. It can make such a difference, man. And he doesn't do it consistently enough. I know some people kind of with the subs, it's not a big issue for them, but at times for me it can be, because some of the substitutions are pretty obvious and they're staring you in the face. So if he's not seeing it, then to me that's a bit of a worry. But mate, like I said before, I'm disappointed we didn't end up going to win the game, to be honest with you. We had again a classic case of missed chances. Lacazette, I thought, to give a shout out to him, I thought he played really, really well, actually. And deserved
shout out to Lacazette. Yeah, 100%. I was going to suggest that as well. And he was great.
Last thing before I come back to you guys, the one thing that drives me insane, and I said it time and time again, if you're going to play that formation, right, stop trying to shoehorn both Aubameyang and Lacazette in the team.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, man. I don't know how many times you have to keep seeing it as Arsenal. You play one or the other. You can't.
There was a point. Hold on. There was a point where we were all saying, "Oh, those two work really well together," and they had this telepathic communication.
No, I never said that, Levs, man.
No, I'm not saying you particularly. But there was, why is everyone so defensive on this show, man? I didn't say it. It wasn't me.
No, but some people do. You're right.
I wasn't saying that, but there was this school of thought at one point, and performance-wise, they were scoring. Aubameyang's first bad season is this season at Arsenal. Prior to that, he's been scoring. We can't knock it, right? So it was easy. It was more the case of, is Lacazette going to play at that point? And when he was coming, it was the case of, does he work better having him there instead of somebody else to help with bringing the ball down and bringing Aubameyang into the game and them linking? That's how it was. Now it's sort of flipping round. Should Aubameyang even be playing? Because right now, Lacazette, with the style of play, links things up better with Emil Smith-Rowe and Odegaard and those guys. So it's a weird one. I don't know. Hold on. Let's have a look what people are saying in the chats, because we're going to get to a point where hopefully we start inviting some people on. It's Shaheen Sham. Come on, man. $2.99. Shaheen, you cheap bastard. come on, man.
He made,
Anyway,
he made a good point about Thomas Partey shooting.
Nah, man, come on. Nah, I'm not accepting
on,
that.
man.
Listen, I'd rather him be shooting than Xhaka, first of all. And listen, it'll come. He just needs to find his ground. I trust me, he's gonna hit a banger soon. And he had one on target against Man United. Don't forget. People see I pay attention to everything. He had one on target against United. But yes,
Africa Good, you know what it is? Because people were saying when he was at Madrid, right? They said, nah, his shooting was all right. And I'm thinking, boy, like, I'm still waiting to see it.
Yeah, no. For sure. I know. I agree with you. I just he has a little bit of credit. You know, we know he's a good player, and it's gonna come. I'm gonna give him a couple more. I mean, if the next 5 shots are all off target, then I'll be like, okay, dude, like, okay, just pass it on to Odegaard to shoot or something, right? But I think given a couple of more tries, I think he's gonna get. When he scores it, it's gonna be a banger. I think the whole fan base
you just know. Yeah,
look at this guy. So this continues the whole defensive situation when people come on this show. So Nudran is suggesting this is the scapegoat Pepe show. Now Nudran, I don't know if you're new to this or Nudran, but we've wanted we've wanted Pepe to succeed for ages. We thought he was going to be amazing. We thought his skill, his technical ability, we want him to do well. But the truth of the matter is, Nudran, whatever you say, mate, it's not £72 million worth, is it? Let's see what else.
He doesn't start for his national team, and let's put this into perspective. He doesn't start for any of the top 4 sides. And if we make that comment about Xhaka and other players, it should apply to him as well, man. There's no excuse. I mean, he doesn't start for any top 4 team. So what does it make him good enough to play and start for Arsenal, right? And Arteta, although he has his favorites, he clearly is seeing stuff in training and stuff. He's just raw talent, and Arteta doesn't want raw talent. It's too much of a risk for him. You don't know what you're gonna get from Pepe. You might get 3-4 dribbles. He dribbles the whole team, and then he messes up and like falls over himself and trips over himself. That's the type of player he is. And so, now we don't have space for that in our team, man, right now. And we've been doing really well without Pepe, right? I mean, we've been winning. I think we're 3rd in the league, from December, and we've been doing that without Pepe. So why are people crying for this guy, man?
Well, I mean, let's find out. And we've got somebody waiting in the wings to come in as well. So let's see what his points are. And I'll be dropping the link in as well. If anyone else wants to come on, let me know. I'll drop the link in. Come and have your say. Come and make Albert or African Goon really defensive. Let's try. So we're going to get Disky in first, yeah? So Disky Assembly, the Disky Assembly in the house, everybody. How you doing, brother?
What's up, everybody?
Look at him, man. He's got the classic banana shirt on as well. He knows. Where are you calling from, brother?
So I'm currently in Los Angeles, but I'm from I'm living here and working here now, but I was born in the UK but grew up in Kenya and South Africa.
There you go. See, but he's in LA now with his banana shirt and he's chilling and he's on the show. So, bro, man, you've been listening, hopefully.
Yes, I have.
You've heard what we've been talking about so far, and you're welcome to chat about whatever you want, whatever subject matter, Arsenal relative. But, I mean, what do you want to talk about, bro?
I mean, tensions are still kind of high from the West Ham game. I think, Albert, you were right. Sometimes we need a break, fam.
Yeah,
sometimes
100%.
we need a break from this team because genuinely, like, trust issues FC. Like, this is the reason I have trust issues with everybody in my life. That game, the first 3, like, I feel
like I'm in therapy here, man.
Right? I feel like we need a support for this club. Like, I'm telling you, like, they need to pay for my health insurance and everything because it's a mad one here. But
sponsorship, man. That's another sponsorship, for the channel. Yeah, go on, bro.
But I think the West Ham game, I was also predicting like at least like a 2-0 win or 2-1 win. But Arsenal, time and time again, have let me down within the first 15 minutes or it's like we need to focus on increments. If we can get past the first 5 minutes, then we get past the 10 minutes, then we get past the first 15 minutes, and we haven't conceded a goal from then. God bless. Because it's as if every time we concede, then it's almost like we need a goal to concede against us to show some fight. And there are games where we've seen where, we start really well, we start really strong, but then individual errors are always the thing that kind of just like get on the back of us. And now we have to fight. But what I will say about that West Ham game, 4 or 5 years ago, even further back, I would have said that 3-0 at halftime, we're losing that game. Or if anything,
massive point,
it would have been 3-2. And we come really close to getting an equalizer, but never get it at the end. But big up for them for showing some heart and actually coming back and equalizing that game, but still felt worse. At the end of it, it didn't feel great at all. Just doing that.
Bro, listen, at least you brought a positive spin on it, though. You're right.
Yeah, no, you have to.
Positive spin. You're 100% right. There's no way Arsenal team from 3, 4, 5 years ago are coming back from that. I would have switched off and I would have just went for a walk or something or whatever, because I would have been fuming because I just knew they weren't coming back.
Yeah.
But this time they showed a bit of fight. You're right, bro. 100%.
Yeah. And it is like these things where it's like, I think Arteta in the starting lineup, I agree. I don't think Aubameyang should have started with everything that had been going on, his performance against Olympiacos. I think he should have. And you're right. This is the time when certain players aren't performing, there's so much hunger and fight from the younger players like Martinelli, who we know every time that guy has come on, every time he's come on the pitch, he showed, you can see in his mind, he's going, I'm going to give everything because I want to show people that even if I don't contribute in some way or another, I'm going to show heart. I'm going to show something that I can play. And so with that, I also thought that, Martinelli would have started, but he didn't. I was really impressed with when Pepe did come on. I was really impressed with how ODEGAARD and Pepe were linking up. If you look back at that game, ODEGAARD is so good at really just in these really small situations. It is very similar to what Ozil used to do in the sense that he would just pick out a pass and then all of a sudden it's in something. But ODEGAARD was really finding Pepe. If Pepe can just put his damn foot through some of these shots, if he could just hit I think we actually could have won that game. We also could have lost it in the last minute.
Nugent is coming at us again, right? By slandering Pepe, you whitewash. This is it's like we've upset his brother or something. Look, by slandering Pepe, we whitewash Arteta's first part of this. No, we're not
whitewashing slandered Pepe tonight. Really.
No, we're not slandering him, right?
Yeah.
It's end product. If you think about the fine margins, if the previous games that he had a bit of end product, we'd be talking about him differently now. There was 100%. The other chance he missed. What game was it with the chance he missed on the left foot? He actually missed.
And it was like he passed. You thought he was going to hit it. Yeah. Right.
Come on, let's not be silly, Nudran. We're not slating him. We're not whitewashing him. But at 72 million pounds, 5 yards outside or in the 6 yard box, you got to be finishing. It's as simple as that. And this is another point that Diski's made that I like to put out to you guys. Mentality in this team, right? Because it has improved, but we still have the residue of the past in amongst it, and we've got rid of a lot of it. Mustafi's gone, Kolasinac is gone, the Ozil problem's gone. He has done some of it, but there's still a residue. The likes of your Luiz's are still there, and there's still that element. It exists every now and then. It comes back and haunts us that it's an individual error. How many individual errors has it had? So is this a mentality thing, and is it not going to go away totally until that summer window comes and that residue is gone?
Yeah. And you can see Arteta is definitely making a stance on, at least with discipline in the club and really trying to focus on, I think, with Arsenal players, it's concentration. It's really just being concentrated for a prolonged period of time, because as you can say, we can do one thing, we can really play really well and have come back 3-3, and then if you watch that game, the last 4 minutes we could have lost it just again there, and it's like a change of 1-2 centimeters apart that goes in. Everyone again is going, okay, now what was the point of all of that? And
the three areas we always worry about: start of the game, just before half time, and then end of the game. There.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Go finish your point.
No, I was gonna say that I feel very confident at the second half. Like at the start of the second half, I always feel fairly confident. Start of the games, I feel nervous, and the end of the games, I'm almost on the verge of a heart attack.
I really enjoyed all your points. I think just on the last point in terms of the concentration, I just can't digest that one, man. Because listen, you're playing for Arsenal Football Club, man. How have you made it to this level if you can't concentrate in a game? Like that for me is what I can't digest, because these are supposed to be the best players out of 7 billion people on the planet, meaning they should have been filtered through. If you can't concentrate in 90 minutes, you shouldn't be playing professional football, regardless of how good you pass, how good whatever, right? There must be hundreds of thousands of other players that can do what what you can do and can actually concentrate, right? And that's why I don't get when people say Xhaka can't concentrate, he loses focus and stuff. That's an excuse. He's just crap, right? And in terms of Aslan's point, I'm tired of talking about Xhaka. I'm tired of talking about Bellerin. We give the same energy to most of these players. We're just tired of repeating ourselves. And Pepe is the most recent player that's come in, and that's why we're obviously, along with the price tag, there's some pressure on him, right? But I agree with the Disky. I think 100%. I mean, I want to mention that second half, that was an Arsene Wenger. I haven't seen us play that strong and dominate a game that much since Arsene Wenger, where we were just playing, fantastic football in the midfield. West Ham couldn't handle us, man. They were lost. It was, Albert, remember we were talking about Spurs when they were under fire and they looked lost and we were laughing. That was West Ham in that moment. We had absolute control. They couldn't get the ball from us. Odegaard was untouchable. And yeah, I totally agree. And I think that what's important to note is that when you have such class players like Sanchez, like Ozil, there's this telepathy, like me and Albert, there's this telepathy that you don't need to talk. They just know that they have the skill and they can read each other because they've played with each other, right? So, and they can read that. So it's great to see. And I mean, we've been missing a player like that for so long. So yeah. And as Disky said, I mean, we could have 100% lost that game. They hit the post. They missed a couple of chances. And it would have been a sucker punch if we ended up losing that 4-3. So yeah.
So do you guys think?
Go on.
Sorry.
Go on.
I was going to ask. Do you guys think, or do you see a team where Lacazette and Aubameyang do fit into the same team and into the starting lineup at the same time?
No, it hasn't happened since. Remember with Wenger at the end of his tenure, they tried it and it didn't work. At one point, we even played our best. We played Mesut Ozil, we played Lacazette, we played Aubameyang, and I don't remember who we played on the right side, but it was like the frightening front four, and I mean, nothing came from that really, right? So it hasn't been working for a long time. I think we spent too much money, and this was a mistake. We had an opportunity to buy Aubameyang when Sanchez left, and you know how we are when we can get any above average player, we jump at it for a cheap price because we're cheap and we're never going to pay the astronomical fees for world-class players. So we did that, and then we're stuck with two 50 million plus pound strikers, and we're going to have to find a way to play them. You can't have a 50 million pound player sitting on the bench, especially if you're Arsenal and you don't spend that type of money, right? So I think it's all the mess that's accumulating.
Throw this to Albert then. Obviously, with this striker conundrum right now, yeah? We've given Aubameyang a long-term contract. Right, and let's be honest, every single one of us here was over the moon when he was given that contract. None of us wanted him gone. Yeah, we were all like, oh, can't wait. Everyone else, other fans were telling us we were going to lose him. He comes, he signs the thing. We all say, no, man, it must be because he's heard about all these great signings we're making. All of a sudden, man's mojo's gone. Right, he's had the worst season. In the meantime, Laka stepped up, and he stepped up, and the guy we've been talking about selling is now the only type of person that we have in the team that's capable of holding that ball up, linking things up. And Aubameyang, without his goals, you could look, we're ninth. What would have happened if he had a similar season to last season, this season? We wouldn't be ninth. We'd be probably in the top four in the way this league's been. So what are we going to do now? I mean, are we talking about selling? You still want to sell Lacazette? Or would you try and cash in on Aubameyang? It's going to be very expensive. What would you do?
It almost feels like, remember when we were looking for that cam, and then Ramsey stepped up and started playing well, and then we went and sold him. And then it's like a similar thing where it's like Lacazette is coming to the forefront, and then if we go ahead and sell him, it's like we're at that same issue where, okay, where's the line between when we fully believe in a player when they start performing, opposed to just being like, okay, now's a good time to sell them while they're at their peak, or like where they, unless they won't get sold at all.
Albert, what would you do, bro?
I've been quite vocal about this. If it was,
sorry, I haven't been watching you on all the 10, 15 channels you've been on.
No, I was gonna say, like with the Lacazette thing, I probably would have sold him already. To be having this conversation.
What would we have done though without him? If you hindsight now.
No, I hear what you're saying, but even with the Aubameyang thing, we obviously know he's in the latter stages of his career. So what that comes down to then is planning and preparation from the club, because obviously you're gonna have to bring somebody in. I personally think with the Nketiah thing, he's not good enough. He's not going to make it at Arsenal. He may go on to have a good career, but just not at Arsenal. Lacazette, if the rumors were true, that Roma were interested in him. And you know what, Levs, it probably works out better in the sense of if Lacazette's playing well and you can command the bigger fee than what you probably think you might get, that's a positive. Because, like I said, for me, I'm not saying Lacazette's a terrible player, don't get me wrong, or he's not good enough, but I just think for the outlay we paid for him and what we've got in return, the maths don't add up, mate. And
no, he hasn't had more than 15 goals in a season at all, has he?
Yeah, his best, I think, in a season in total was 19, if I'm right off the top of my head.
Comps, not in the
in all comps, in all comps, yeah. So yeah, Les, I would have sold him already. As for the Aubameyang thing, sorry, mate. As for the Aubameyang thing, I don't know. It's a weird one because obviously he's never had this type of dropout in performance in his entire career, and you know, I'm not no body language expert, but if you're going on by that, then it's not looking particularly very good. And this is going back quite a while now, even from, you know, the interview on Arsenal.com before the North London derby. I mean, I cannot believe they let put that interview out before a big North London derby. It's insane. That's coming from your club captain. Listen, don't get me wrong. We know that there's been things outside of football that's affected him 100%.
Yeah, he's not right. He's not. Listen, I don't buy this whole thing that some people were saying that he's on the decline, and we were talking about this on Wednesday. But then I thought about it over the last couple of days. We're saying he's on the decline, but he's getting in those positions still. The chances are there. You don't suddenly, if you're on the decline, it's not because suddenly when you go on the decline, you don't lose the ability to finish. You lose the ability to get into the spaces. So he's clearly still getting there. I don't think he's going to have another bad season like this. So I don't know. It's just it's mental. I think he's a mentality issue with him. He doesn't look the same player on that pitch right now.
Sorry, mate. And the problem is with the mentality thing you guys were touching on earlier. It's such a culture change that's developed at Arsenal for such a long time that it's so detrimental towards us. I mean, I even look at the game against Tottenham, which we won. They're down to 10 men. And Arsenal just went into some not self.
We were more under pressure with 10 men when they went down to 10 men than when we.
And it makes me think: is that something about like, oh, they don't have? It's like they have nothing against West Ham. We're 3-0 down. You have nothing to lose. Yes. Against Tottenham, they have a red card. Now all this pressure's on, and then they're expecting like, oh, we have to win now, and then that pressure's instead of just taking the game.
We can't. We do not have the ability to sit back and soak up pressure and then able to attack. We either sit there and soak up pressure,
demoralizes us. The more the team has pressure in our half and does all that stuff, as much as we're soaking it in, it still gets to the players, and I feel like they get demoralized.
Let's be real. We're doing better when we're soaking in before compared to Wenger.
Yeah, we are better defensively.
We leak goals like crazy. At least now we'll leak in one maybe, but like we at least. We can hold our own and we can still counter and score, I think. And that's an improvement.
Always the risk, African, that we're going to make that. There's always, we're always waiting for us to mess up.
Players, right? It's the same players.
Like we have the Luiz. We always think, is he going to pull someone? Is he going to trip someone?
Like,
and do you know what? Teams approach us that way too. They sit back and they go, wait, they're gonna give us something. Just wait, just soak it up. Wait, how many games have you seen us where we're all over someone and we still manage to go behind and sometimes lose? It's crazy. But I want to just touch on a few other things that people are saying in here. Some really important factors. There is a reason why Uber is at Arsenal, not a big club. He just does not do enough in games. That's from Superfleet. I don't know, mate. I mean, this is somebody that's got a ridiculous. He scored 20 goals a season anywhere he's been.
Still our guy. We cannot, like, as hard as it is, and when players go through these dips, I'm sure I do wish that Arsenal fans, you know, we are a toxic fan base. Let's be real. A lot of like what we feel is from pain, is from the pain we felt over the years of losing these 8-2s and things like that. But it's like in these moments when we see how Aubameyang has taken us out of certain situations, given us the FA Cup and taken us out of places that, you know, no other players rose to the occasion. We have to believe in him and be like, listen, if this man is still doing flips, he can still finish. He can still finish. This Owen's still doing these stuff. Like, He can't like. There's no way that he's dipping like that, man.
No, he's not. He's not. It's a mental issue.
Yeah,
the chances he's missing. The chances he had when he was against Olympiacos, they were clear-cut chances. They were like bread and butter. You're through on goal one-on-one with a keeper type chances.
Right.
This is the stuff these guys eat for breakfast. Yeah. So this is a mental problem. Like this is not an issue about him on the decline. And all these people chatting rubbish.
And Lev, that performance against Olympiacos, for example, that came after being dropped, you know, for the North London derby. And you would have thought that your club captain, your main go-to guy, would want to show the manager and his teammates, you know what, I mean business. And he put in a performance against Olympiacos. I even forgot he was playing.
Yeah, the only way he really salvages this for me is he carries us in Europa League. And I have confidence that he will, because as the Disky said, like, he's that player, like 4 games, he's just out of it, and then bang, he scores like 2-3 lightning goals for us, and like he takes us through, and it's like, oh my God, we love you, Aubameyang, right? And that inconsistency for a fan base that goes through these roller coasters, it really makes it sour for us, because we don't know what to expect, and we don't have many players that are consistent, and we're expecting him to be one of those guys that are consistent for us, right? So I'm going to put my neck on the line. I really do think that in the next round of the Europa, I think he's going to pull through. And I mean, in terms of Lacazette, I just wanted to mention that it's so funny how 6 months ago we were talking like this guy's trash, like, and most of the fan base was like, let's get rid of him, and now it's the total other end of the spectrum. We're like, holy crap, this guy brings so much to our team. And I feel kind of harsh saying this, but we've got to be ruthless, right? And it's not 100%. Only the club that has to be ruthless, but the fan base needs to be ruthless as well. As much as I love, like I said, it's time for him. We cannot give him another year. We need to move on from this team. Why do we keep holding the likes of Xhaka, Bellerin stuff? We've been, as the Disky said, this pain comes from all these players that have been here for all this time. Get rid of them. Let's start from scratch. It's okay if new players disappoint us, but at least give a chance to a different player to disappoint us.
It's like ancestral trauma with these guys in this club.
You guys have got PTSD. That's what I keep saying. It PTSD as fans. That's what we have. At the end of the day, maybe having Lacazette up there has showed us that we need a striker that's capable of doing that type of thing. I don't think Lacazette's the best at holding it up. Yeah, we're seeing him do it. We don't have anyone else that does it. I mean, look at our strike force. You got Aubameyang, you got Lacazette, you got Martinelli. You got Nketiah. None of them really are capable of running that the front line on their own and holding it up and doing like what Vardy does.
We really haven't seen him been given a chance. I think he could do a good job.
Young, but you can hardly see him backing into a defender, getting a ball from a goal kick.
Lev.
I don't think that.
Wait. We could hardly see him scoring headers, and look at the headers this kid has scored.
I'm not saying he's a finisher.
Phenomenal headers, so don't underestimate him.
I don't underestimate him. I think he's an off-the-shoulder centre forward. I think he's one that's got pace. Everything. He's a poacher. He's a finisher. But one thing I don't think he is. Man.
He's a futsal player. He's been converted from a 5-a-side indoor soccer player to an 11-a-side player. That's why he has all this techers. That's why he's a good finisher. It's because he's an indoor futsal player. He's that type of player, and he's been converted. So for me, I feel like he has an all-round game, and that's why we love him as fans, is because we can see he has everything to him, right? Like all the aspects that we want in a striker. So hopefully he gets a chance.
Listen, I don't doubt him at all. I think he's a quality player.
I know I'm giving you a hard time.
I know you are, but I'm used to it. I just don't think he's that type of, sometimes you need to hold it, you need to change your tactics. Yeah. So say you're playing in Europe away and you just think to yourself, we're going to keep it tight. We're going to, they might have possession. So if we want to go long, sometimes you got someone in the mold of a Giroud who can hold it up. A lot of teams do that. We don't have an alternative type striker is what I'm trying to say. We have quick off the shoulder type strikers, but we don't have that man that we can call upon when we need to change tactics. Albert, do you agree?
Sorry, say that. I can't. Say that again. I lost train of thought. Sorry, mate.
He's not even listening.
Right.
Man's like, all right. So striker wise,
yeah.
Do you feel that we've got too many of the same type? That you can't really change your style of play. You can't. At the moment, we've got a lot of quick in behind type strikers who want to run in behind, who score goals. Lacazette, we've converted into type of like a hold up type player, right? But we don't have that specialist who could do that type of job. Like if you look at Edouard at Celtic, he's a big guy, right? But he's also quick. He can hold it up. Look what Antonio does for West Ham, and he's not even a striker. Do we have a centre forward that we can put up like that and rely on to change tactics at times?
No, you just took the word out of my mouth. Edouard is someone who I think Arsenal should be seriously consider looking at, if they're not already. And he's more than gettable, to be honest with you. People can have their talks and doubts about the SPO. That's another subject. But no, he's a player I want to come in and actually replace Lacazette, to be honest. I think all our strikers are I think they're very, very different. Nketiah is obviously a box striker. Lacazette's a better hold-up player. Aubameyang probably goes in behind, and then Martinelli can probably do a mixture of everything. But the problem we've got variety, but none of them have been consistent. I'll probably take Martinelli out of that because he's had a long-term injury. But that's why I think people are sort of beating the Martinelli drum, because they're not saying he should start week in, week out. But what they're saying is that the strikers that are ahead of him are not doing the job consistently. So why is this guy not getting more minutes than he should be? And that's the question I think you can hold Mikel Arteta accountable for.
Do you guys think that Mikel Arteta should be open to allowing them to be consistent in that space, to give players the ability to actually perform on a consistent basis? Or do you guys think that sometimes, because I also find sometimes with certain choices that he makes in selections, the player that has been on form will, he won't pick them and won't start them. And then that run of form takes a little dip, and it's like they have to start back at square one to find that form again. And just when they're about to hit that form again, a new player comes into, and it's like no one's given the opportunity to really show their consistency because things are being switched around.
My thoughts on that is, I think, listen, as fans, we also know who the consistent players are, right? You can name them off the top of your fingers because they're not that many. Tierney, I guess Leno. I mean, apart from last game, we'll forget
still holds it down.
He's been quite consistent. Thomas Partey. Lacazette has been quite consistent in his hold-up play and everything.
Gabriel is our best defender.
So 5 players, right? And I think, when we talk, I know I hate going back to this Pepe because people don't like us talking about Pepe, but he got a chance, man. He did get a consistent run of games, and he didn't prove himself, and he wasn't working hard enough. He wasn't doing the defensive work. It was clean.
I still see Pepe has a future, though. I believe he's been given enough chances, but I agree. Like, there's just too much shuffling around in the team, but I think it's the amount of games. I think Arteta still doesn't know his best 11. Our squad is too thin, man. We don't have enough good players. I feel bad for him sometimes because I feel he's forced into these situations, but 100% agree. Someone like Willian shouldn't be getting a lot of the games that he has been getting. So he has made mistakes, but I think it's quite hard to give a lot of these guys consistency. But what I would say is, moving forward in the Europa League, there's no more excuse. We have nothing to play for but the Europa League. So final
team all the way through now.
Each game, as Arteta said, each game we play has to be a final. And we that same energy. Remember when Arteta first came in and we were road to the FA Cup final? For some reason, I believe, like, there was something in me before we started actually winning those FA Cup games. I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. So we're going to get to the final. And it was that energy that we had cultivated. We need to cultivate that same energy for the Europa League and deliver, not in the way when we got to the damn final and played Chelsea, because that was just
Are you feeling that we're going to get to the final based on what you've seen? Listen, it's there for us, no?
I have to. I'm obliged.
This draw has worked in our favour. Like, if we're not going to win it now or get to the final now, we've only got ourselves to blame. This is sorry. You know what it is? I think, touching on what you just said about winning, trying to win the Europa League, and it's in sort of touching distance. I think the only concern I would have, because we've talked about
Emery's coming.
No, not even that.
It's like the worst horror movie, Emery. Emery, the revenge.
We talk about the mentality of the group of players and whatever. My only issue is if you sort of rewind back to the final in Baku against Chelsea, Levs, we ain't won a European trophy for a very long time, so I'm lucky enough to see us win one, to be fair. But the only issue is, I think 6 or 7 of that team that started in Baku are still at this football club. So you've got to ask yourself the question: if we're in the same position again, do you trust these same group of players?
Listen. Can I touch on that, Albert? I 100% agree with you. I think the only difference right now is Arteta, man. I don't think he'll accept that crap, to be honest. I don't think he'll tolerate it. And that's the difference for me. And if he doesn't put that marker down and we get embarrassed, that will be the final straw, regardless of what he does in the transfer window. I'm going to say this guy isn't the guy. He couldn't get us to perform in a final, right? Like, as we said, I mean, when are we going to get another chance? If we mess this one up, guys, we're not getting another one for 2-3 years because we can see Aston Villa, Leicester, Wolves, all these teams caught up to us. We won't have the financial budget. It's going to be the 5th year out of Champions League, and we're a sinking ship. We need this. This is a make it or break it for us right now. And if we don't make it, then we're in serious trouble.
Well, I'm looking at some of these people in the chat, right? This Superflea, he's like literally jumping from comment to comment. I don't know what this guy is. So should we get rid of him? Do you want to get rid of him, or should we put him in timeout? Should we do like do you know, like when they do in ice hockey, we'll sin bin him for a bit, yeah. I'm gonna sin bin you, Superflea, for a little bit, yeah, and you see what you do when you come back. All right, so Superflea's been sin binned. Have I stuck with his comment now?
Yeah,
I stuck? I'm gonna have to move.
I've enjoyed my time here. I need to jump on.
No, jump off, bro. Okay, man. Thank you for coming on. We'll remove you. Come on anytime you want, brother.
No,
take care of yourself.
I appreciate you guys.
No worries.
Cheers.
There you go. Right. Anyway, so Nudran is another one who's going mad. He's defensive. No, we will have to Pepe to blame for 15 minutes when he comes on. I don't know. This Nudran is a bit sensitive. Look,
he must be Pepe's cousin or something, man. Like, he's seriously.
He got an assist, didn't he? So listen, we're not killing the guy, man.
But look, I mean, looking at some of the news, right? I thought we'd touch on some of the news that's going on out there. Yeah. So you mentioned, Albert, a little bit earlier that about the Aubameyang story. Let's see if we can get this up. Here we go. So the Lacazette story, sorry. So this is the Lacazette story you was touching on earlier, wasn't it? Atletico Madrid, apparently Seville and Roma are in for him. That's what they're saying. So French forward Lacazette has scored 61 goals in 161 appearances. So 100 appearances with no goals. You could look at it that way as well. They're saying that he's entering the last year of his contract, obviously. And Sevilla, Roma are interested, as are Atletico. Now, I mean, that's one story. I mean, do you think Atletico would look at him? Is he good enough for Atletico?
Are we talking about Lacazette?
Yeah. Lacazette.
No, wait. Sorry, Albert. Wait. How can you say that when he was supposed to go to Atletico Madrid before he came to Arsenal? Come on, do your research.
But based on the performance,
of course he's good enough. If they were going to sign him 2-3 years ago, why wouldn't they sign him now? And look how he's performing.
Look, hold on. I'm asking a question. I'm not suggesting. I'm just seeing what you've got to say. Why do you always have to take it this way? All right. But based on these recent current performances, is he good enough? Oi.
It's you know what, with the Atletico link's interesting, Les, because like I said, he was linked with guy in there before, and we more or less got him because Atletico Madrid were on a transfer ban. But the other clubs, I could see it happening. I could see it happening with Roma. They was interested in him before the start of the season. So if that's true and they want to come in again for him, I can see the move happening, Levs. Even if it isn't Atletico, I can see both clubs going separate ways, and actually will recoup some money for him. Hopefully, it's in excess of probably, I don't know, let's say 30 million, for example. But that's a move that should happen, mate. It should happen.
And he'd be good enough for La Liga. I think he'll be better in La Liga. I think the Premiership's very, very difficult, isn't it? It's tough. It's physical. If he can do this sort of hold up play in the Prem, La Liga would be a doddle for him. He's a technically good footballer. You can't say he's not. No. He's unmuted himself, by the way. So
no, I agree. No, I agree with you. I just think, like I said earlier, I'm not saying he's not a good striker. Like, I just don't think, for me, the move has completely worked out at Arsenal. Maybe he'll go and do, have a good 2 or 3 years in Italy or Spain, wherever he goes to. But I think it's a move that both clubs need to make happen.
100%, but it's not been the worst, right? I mean, he has contributed, so I'm not too fussed about it. I hear you, though. I mean, like, we were expecting some improvement on Giroud, and actually, when you watch highlights and stuff, I think people underrated Giroud and underappreciate. Like, when I rewatched, and this guy was, I mean, he scored a lot of goals for us, man, and he was that that player that we're saying Lacazette in terms of hold up and stuff, the guy that, you know, like a Bentner, you just chuck in, we're losing 1-0, you just chuck the ball in and somehow Giroud scores, right? We were missing that type of player in our team, and that's why we're talking about someone like Eduard, right? But yeah, as Albert said, I mean, Atletico Madrid have just got Suarez, man. Where is Lacazette going to fit into that, right? Because Suarez is a really great player.
Mate,
and
we missed out on Suarez, by the way.
Oh, man.
Biggest
He
crime.
would have been. Imagine him with Sanchez. We would have been
longevity as well.
Man.
He's been at the top for ages. What is he? 33, 34 now?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think he's 34.
I think arguably I think he would have got us a league title or near it personally.
100%. 100%.
Crazy that we were like trying to toy with that. And this is the other one of the other ones I wanted to show you guys. See what you think of this one too. So you got this story going around right now in regards to. Let's have a look. Here we go. We got this. So the story in the Metro, Mikel Arteta keen on Paulo Dybala if Arsenal lose out on Martin Odegaard. So, I mean, thoughts on that one?
I would have loved that like a year ago, but like he's been killed as a player at Juventus. I mean, he's not the hype is gone in my opinion, and I think he's not performing because he's not getting the same game time. And I think when Ronaldo came in, I mean, it's kind of cut a lot of his chances as well. And you know, and we know this. We've seen a lot of players that are really good. And I know I don't want to re-hype. We had that conversation about Dele Alli, but I'm gonna say it's kind of similar situations. They both had
I hate that guy.
and then they got killed, right? I'm just comparing. I'm saying in terms of situations. Situations. They both had a lot of potential and then got completely killed in their team. And now I don't think there's gonna be a resurgence. I mean, DYBALA might be still a good player, but I don't think he'll ever reach the heights that like the whole world really expected him to when he was phenomenal and flying and scoring and assisting, and he looked quite the gem. So I wouldn't take it right now.
It's funny because players' careers are made or broken by the moves that they make. Maybe if he came to us, went to the right sort of team, he could have been a different player. Look at Henry. He was at Juve first, wasn't he? Wasn't working out really that best there. He was all right. Came to us, totally different player. You don't know. But I'd rather keep Odegaard. I mean, you know, otherwise they're talking about the other one they're talking about in midfield, Albert, as well. I'll drop this one on you, bro. This is the one they're talking about at the moment for our midfield. Guido Rodriguez, is that right? Guido Rodriguez, apparently from Betis.
How much are they saying? How much are they saying for him?
68 million. 68 million release clause.
I've heard the name touted before. I would need to sort of do my homework a lot more.
I agree with that.
Well, these are his stats. Look, he's played 25 games.
But come on, like look at Xhaka's stats. That doesn't mean crap, man. I hate when people.
Why do you have to hit Rodriguez with a Xhaka stat? That's
but I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying. I think Albert is being quite like honest in terms of like he's not gonna pretend like he knows who the guy is. Neither am I. I've never seen.
I was expecting Albert to go. Well, yeah, I've been watching him for a little while now. You know, every podcaster does that. Yeah, I've heard about him. Yeah,
you know what? I know a lot of Arsenal content creators who watch a lot of Liga that will probably know more about it than I would. I think, you know, going back to the one before. Sorry, you know, with the DYBALA one. I would have thought it would have been probably more possible to get Odegaard than him. Much more.
Campbell made a massive point. Sol Campbell made a massive point today, suggesting that it doesn't surprise him that Real Madrid are doing this with regards to Odegaard because they're going to hardball us. So obviously, the better he plays, the more they're going to hardball. They're going to turn around and say, "Oh, well, you know, I don't know if we'll sell him," and it's just going to make us want him more. And the more we hype him up, the more, unfortunately, we're creating a situation for Arsenal that they might have to pay more. So,
how much more, right? And if the player is willing to come, I think that makes a big difference, right? I think regardless of if they play hardball, I think Martin Odegaard himself and his agent definitely know like that they're full of it, right? And that like they're just trying to raise the price and stuff. And he'll obviously try to make that move happen. And I mean, I know Sebastian said Coutinho. We already talked on that. I mean, dude, why, man? Like that's also an opportunity that's passed. I've never looked back on that. And why? Look at Odegaard, man. He is phenomenal. And I also want to point out, we were talking about the mic'd up version that Arsenal keeps putting out. And when you listen to him, for a Norwegian, he speaks really good English, and he's very intelligent, which is also, I mean, it's not only about the football. I want players in the Arsenal team that have a good culture, care about the world. You know what I mean? As a good human as well as
Captain of Norway already.
And yeah, and he seems to be like a kid who has good, like kind of like Kieran Tierney. He has the right values. He speaks well. He cares about the right things, and he showcases that Arsenal culture that we want to have, right? So I mean, it's just like the perfect match really for us. And I don't see it as a negative, even if we spend the more like the 30, 40 million and we get that 5-10 million, you know, basically price tag because he's done so well. I think it's still worth it because we're still going to be able to sell him for 50, 60, 70 million in the next 4 or 5 years, regardless, in my opinion, right? So even in the long term for me, like this guy's an asset, right? He's not going to devalue in my opinion.
We have to get him.
I mean,
we have to get
look
him.
at Ceballos, right? I mean, look at the difference between these two players. It's mountains apart.
Country mile, man.
I wanted to drop this in, guys, while we're having this conversation, because Aslan Khan's made a great point. How you doing, brother? Come end of the season, if Odegaard carries on with his current form, I would consider swapping Uber for. I wouldn't know about Uber, but what I do like about this point we maybe haven't touched on is there anyone in our current squad that if we were to want Odegaard, that we could do a deal with? Maybe they might turn around and say, oh, give us Lacazette, for example.
It would have to be Madrid, Barcelona, or one of those top elite teams that are willing to take one of these guys, because that's the only ones that are going to be able to afford it, and they need to have space in their team. And listen, I mean, an Arsenal player is not going to leave Arsenal where we're super comfortable. They're earning good money. They're in London. The culture is kind of, you know what I mean? We want to pretend like all of them are winners, but they really aren't. And that's why Mustafi and all those, you know, I don't want to swear, but all those really were just chilling at Arsenal, man. They had their cult, right? And they were just chilling and just taking a paycheck. And you saw they all left at the same time. That's not a coincidence, right? So, yeah, I mean, my front, I think it's going to be very hard to actually find a player that someone is going to want. The only one I see really is Aubameyang or Lacazette. Or, I mean, there's no way someone's taking Willian, right? So yeah, we don't really have much choices. Please, Xhaka, he's an amazing player. Please, Real Madrid, take him. Do a swap, please. I'll fly him personally. I'll be his chaperone. Like I'll make sure he's on time and everything. Seriously, but like
he's on one, isn't he? He's on one. Mark Green saying Zidane don't even rate Odegaard, so that's in our favor. Well, it might rate him after a while if he carries on playing like this.
It doesn't matter what Zidane thinks, right? As a club, right? We're talking about the hierarchy. They're the ones who are going to make a decision. They're not going to care what Zidane thinks, right? Regardless of if he wants him or not, they're going to get the money they think they deserve. They're businessmen. They don't care what the coach thinks. And that should be the same at Arsenal, right? If our coach doesn't rate you, doesn't mean we should sell you for 5 million if you're worth 15, 20 million. And that's what a problem we've identified. We sell players for cheap money when we see Liverpool selling players who haven't even freaking played a game in the Premier League for 15, 20 million, right? So that's the type of attitude and ruthlessness we need from our hierarchy to say, nah, we don't care. Callum Chambers, he's only played a couple of games, 15 million. Nah, you can't pay up, suck it up. And then that's the attitude we need to have.
Yeah,
so next on the board is going to be African Guna as well.
Sorry, Lev. Sorry, just quickly about Callum Chambers. This is the thing. You African Guna. I'm glad you brought him up. I think Leicester. This must have been about 2-3 years ago. Levs, right? They put in a £25 million bid for Chambers, and we turned it down, mate.
Yeah.
From a business point of view, this club drives me mad. Absolutely crazy.
And hold on,
criminal.
We weren't going to. If you haven't got the thought of using Ainsley Maitland-Niles, we had an offer for him as well. We didn't take that, and now we've gone and put him out on loan. But it's looking increasingly like they're not going to, keep him in the squad.
Yeah.
So why didn't you cash in on this when you had the chance?
Crazy, yeah.
It's not the first time we've done it, brother. You're 100% right. I mean, we've done it a number of times, but. I mean, look, the only other thing is I wanted to look at as well. There was one more bit of news. I'll find it in a second. But Europa-wise, we've done that. So what about the pending Liverpool game? I mean, first, wait, before we move on to Liverpool, what would be your lineup, guys, for the Europa? If we were to get to the final tomorrow, we dropped this in on Wednesday. If you could get to the final tomorrow, this was what we dropped. It was Lee and it was Curtis Shaw on Wednesday. And basically,
you want to go first?
Yeah, What was your team for the final? If you had to name it tomorrow, we're in the final. What would it be?
All right, so Leno.
Yeah.
Cedric.
Oh.
Cedric. I love this question. It's great. Cedric, yeah.
Luiz,
Yeah.
Gabriel, Tierney,
Yeah.
Partey.
It's pretty easy up until these points.
Saka, yeah. It would be.
When you get to the front three.
Front four's tricky. Let's see who I would go with. Saka, obviously. Saka on the right.
Yeah.
Odegaard. ESR. Aubameyang.
So you're gonna drop Lacazette. You've gone. Oh, ooh, lovely. African, your mic is not on mute. So that means you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
What did you think of Albert's?
It's tough.
Albert's
It's
lineup.
tough. It's tough because
If Albert was manager now and he's tweeted out the lineup just before the game, 15 minutes before, like an hour before the game, what would you be saying about Albert right now, and who would you have?
No, the thing is, you see, there's so many different ideas and there's so many different strategies. I definitely agree with Albert in terms of maybe Cedric would be a good choice. But then we're thinking play Bellerin because if we win, his price goes up and we can sell him for more. That's the way I'm thinking.
You
that's
can't go into a tournament and play a player just to get his price. No, not in a final. You can't do that in a final. I'm not letting you get away with that.
Wait. It's not like he's that much worse. You know what I mean? You got to think like this, guys, because
no, you've got to win the final.
No, I know, but like, listen, if we get to the final, we're going to play United or we'll play Ajax. It's not like we're playing Manchester City or we're playing Barcelona or Bayern Munich or one of the most unstoppable teams in the world, right? We're talking about teams that are at our level, and these small changes for me, I mean, I'm not, it's a tough one. I'm just saying if we played Bellerin and we won, it makes sense because we could increase his price tag and make more. But my team would be Leno, Cedric, David Luiz.
After all that, he's got Cedric anyway. So he's just said play him to raise his value and then play Cedric.
Point, right? I'm thinking about it holistically, that if we were to play Bellerin, why the reasoning would be for me to play Bellerin.
Okay, but
I wouldn't personally go with that. So I'll play David Luiz, Gabriel, obviously, Tierney, starters. Partey, automatic starter. I don't want to play Xhaka, absolutely not. But then I don't know if we can play Partey, Odegaard, and Smith Rowe in the 10, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. And then going forward, this is my team. Aubameyang up front, Pepe on the left wing, and Saka right wing. Oh, wait, sorry. I need to change that. Martinelli on the left wing, Aubameyang up front, and then Saka. And then I would bring on Pepe in the second half. In 60th, 70th minute around there, I'd bring him on. And if he becomes a hero, that would be his perfect opportunity to erase everything that Arsenal fans have said, and he becomes a hero. He's winning. He's helped us win the Europa. No, but quite frankly, Albert, come on. Listen, if he scored that goal and we won 4-3, you think I would have said anything on Arsenal fan TV about him? I would have been applauding him. I would have been like, amazing. This is what I want to see from you. And it would have been a complete different story, right? So he needs to have that moment, and the perfect opportunity is in the final for us and take us to that European trophy that I have never witnessed in my life. But that's what I would go with.
Man, it's the European trophy. We haven't won that. Is it 94, 95? Yeah,
94,
and then the season after, George Graham finished 17th and got sacked for unceremoniously. So, that's how long it's been since we've won things in Europe. It's ridiculous. But anyway. So look, my lineup was very similar to you guys, but this is where I have the problem is the front 3 or 4, as you said. I love African. I love that what you were saying. I've mentioned that as well. Partey, and then put Odegaard in that Ceballos type role instead of Ceballos, because I think Odegaard is more of that type player, in my opinion. When I look at him, I think he's more of an orchestrator and a dictator. He plays in tight spaces. He disguises passes, and just when it looks like there's no way through, he gets us in. Go on.
Sorry, I just want to mention just on that. The difference is with Odegaard and Smith Rowe playing in those two positions, they can cover each other. They're smart enough and they're young enough and fit enough to cover each other. We're not going to have that issue. So if Odegaard wants to go, Smith Rowe can drop with Partey, and they can play that so well. And all it has to do is Arteta needs to practice this in training for 3-4 weeks moving forward, and we'll have it sorted by the time we get to the final.
But to be able to do that, we need Partey at full speed,
Yeah.
because he's not at the moment. And I think Arteta knows that. So then he plays him alongside Xhaka to give him that extra bit of, it's almost like, you know, they're complementing each other at the moment. He's hoping that Partey, I think, is going to have that capacity to be able to play that role himself and maybe plays Odegaard and someone like a Smith Rowe. That makes perfect sense in a trio. The Aubameyang thing up front, obviously you want your top striker to play. I can understand your mentality there, but then the question is, what's his form going to be like from now till then? You know, like what if he's still playing the same way and you get
then
the final?
Then you drop him. Then you drop him and you bring him on in the second half to like revive his motivation. Be like, you're the captain. Imagine in a European final, the captain has been benched, right? And he's gonna come on, and if he does improve himself, it'll raise questions for us moving into next season if he's the man for us, right? And I think he'll know that as well. And he, you know, unfortunately, you know, I think he's comfortable, right? Let's be honest, he's comfortable. He knows he's the top scorer, and he knows he's the highest paid player, and he's the captain, and he's protected. But if we put him in a you know, kind of corner him, right? And there's nothing he can do but perform. He's going to have to do it. Otherwise, the fans will turn on him. And I don't think he's that type of player that wants that to happen, right? But we shouldn't have to do that to get him to perform. So hopefully we're not going to be in that situation.
Okay, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm conscious of time. So if you lot need to go, we'll call it quits soon. Mark Green saying he'd play Ryan instead of... What? This is interesting. So Mark Green's selection, yeah? Ryan... Leno is gone. Yeah, Leno is just out of there because Leno, you just don't like him. Mark, I'd like to hear your reasons to Leno. Cedric, Luiz, Gabriel, Tierney, Partey, Xhaka, Saka, ESR, Odegaard, and Laka. So he's dropping Leno and he's dropping Aubameyang. Man's not messing around. He's ruthless.
Statement, mate.
Yeah, Aslan is going Leno, Cedric, Luiz, Gabriel. We know the positions they play in, by the way, mate. Tierney, Partey. He's even gone to CM. Then he's gone. He's gone Pepe. Look at this. Wow. He's gone on my days. He's gone Pepe, Smith Rowe, Saka, and Martinelli. So there's no Laka and there's no Aubameyang.
Wow.
There's no way you can start a young team like that in a final, man. Because if we lose, it's over for Arteta. Like, he gets fired immediately in my eyes. There's no way the fan base lets that go. It's too risky for him.
Jashar was saying Odegaard isn't strong enough to be.
We're not talking about PL. We're talking about Europa League, man.
Yeah, yep. Good point. That's a very good point. Hardcode FC is saying, where is Lee Gunner? I don't know. Why would I know where Lee Gunner is? The fuck is that? It's a weird question. Like, I don't know.
He's on his own channel.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, or at home. Ibrahim Demni, I hope he's following COVID laws and regulations. Aubameyang is not the type of player to come from the bench and step up. He's mentally fragile, says Ibrahim.
I disagree with that.
You disagree with everything.
I think we haven't seen it, right? So it's unfair of us to make that statement because we haven't been in a position really where Aubameyang has had to, come on in the second half and had to really save the game. And maybe I don't remember because it's not often. It's probably very rare that happens. So my view is, as I said, it's a final, man. He has to perform. Like, he has to. There's no question. I can't even think of that process because for me it's just unacceptable. He has to perform. There's just no choice. He's the captain, highest paid player. The fans will be after him. They won't forgive him for a while. There's no choice. He has to do really well.
Yeah. Seb, we normally do the fan cams, but we've had a bit of a technical hitch now. So we'll do them again next Friday. Yeah. I've had issues going on all night. So I do apologize for that. Let's have a look at a few other things in here. Brett is saying he doesn't understand why Partey is his hero. He won't last the whole game, makes a simple pass, and everyone loves it. He gives the ball away in bad areas.
Sorry, Albert, I'll let you go after this. But that
I love the way he jumps in first and says, "I'll let you go."
Go.
That's absurd, man. Like, why are people giving this guy such a hard time? He's clearly not fit. It's not that he can't freaking do 90 minutes. He's been doing it for the last 5 to 10 years. It's just he clearly had an injury. He's never been injured before. He had a serious injury for the first time, and now he's trying to reintegrate and rebuild his fitness in the toughest and most physical league league in the world. So of course he's not going to be able to last. And I think Arteta also hasn't helped him by giving him enough minutes. I think, and I mentioned it when he didn't start that game, that Premier League game, and it was Xhaka and El Neni, I went absurd because I said, why are we protecting him? See, if he played that game, he would have started building minutes. So it's all a accumulation of mistakes that Arteta has made. And I think by the time that we get to the final, I don't know what you think, Albert, absolutely he's going to be able to do 90 minutes. I mean, 100%. And in terms of the passes, yeah, I mean, he needs to just gel. I mean, when you're playing with Xhaka, a donkey like that, I'm sure, like, you know, some passes go astray. His donkey vibes just rub off on you.
A donkey rubbing off on you is where African's going with this. I don't know where he's going with this.
See the question you brought up from Brett. Now, I understand what he's saying, because with some Arsenal fans who have said that, and they've not been ultra critical of Partey, let me make that clear. Like, they're just saying the way people sort of going on how well he's played, they're like, well, actually, are you sure? Because I think that's what is maybe Brett's kind of put across. Not that he's not.
Albert, you're also being unfair here, guys. Come on, listen, Albert. I'm going to ask you this question personally, man. When he comes onto that field, there's a complete different aura to the team, man. I see it. He comes onto the team and he's so good technically that opposition players are not even pressing him, because he can beat you in a split of a second, where Xhaka can't do that, and he gets pressed and he loses the ball. When Partey's in our team, less pressure on the team, because they know if they press, he's able to just kill the press, and then they're in trouble. That's something that he brings to the team. Stability, physicality, his passing range. I mean, he has skills. I think I'd give him a 3 out of 5 skiller. And for a center defensive mid, that's pretty good, to be honest, right? And I think physically he has it. It's just he hasn't reached to that consistency we want because he's been injured. And you have to give him kind of like, time.
You've kind of answered what I was going to say. I think, yeah, we know the first part that how good he is. But like I said, some people were just saying, not to cause debate, but just saying that we don't think he's played as well as some Arsenal fans are sort of making out that the guy's the Messiah recently, when he hasn't been that. But we understand why that's not been the case, because of coming back from the injury and it's taking him time to adapt. So yeah, there's two. Yeah, you can look at it that side as well.
There's definitely
remember the United game.
Yeah, I definitely think what's happened is he's got that injury, and he's not. It was a hamstring injury, wasn't it? It was a hammy. So it was a hamstring injury, and if you're not fully recovered, you don't really play at your full capacity. You're worried that it's going to go at any point. I've had a hamstring injury. I know what it's like, especially when you're a burst type player, because I've seen a lot of games in Partey in La Liga, and one thing he does is he turns defense into attack very quickly. He gets the ball and he drives. You haven't really seen that as much, and I don't think he's covering the ground as normal. That's what it is, and I think people have noticed the slight difference. But there is definitely more to come from him. And African, I mean, I'm not doubting his abilities. We do look a lot stronger with him. I just don't think he's at full flow right now. A quick thing that interesting stat that Seb sent me, right? And this is Odegaard's performances since he joined us. Yeah. And you can see the chances created, etc. And look at that, 17 chances created in 767 minutes played. Right, he's up there, so he's playing really well. You know what I mean? And thank you for that, Seb. He wanted me to show you that. Nice bit of info there. So a very quick run through before we go, guys. Duncan Dubs, love that name. Partey is our best midfielder by miles. Deserves a better partner than Xhaka. Very good point. Xhaka, yeah. BISSOUMA. That's what I was gonna. Yeah. You know what? That's the one. Do you know when I said earlier I've got another one? That was it. BISSOUMA transfer.
That would be potentially. That'd be
perfect segue there. Thank you, Duncan. Yeah. So I mean, I agree with you there. He's definitely needs someone better next to him. Even Mark Green said exactly the same. If Partey played with BISSOUMA, totally different player. Yes, 100%.
Make it happen, Arsenal. Make it happen.
Make it happen. Aslan Khan says, La AG, I challenge your opinion on Pepe. Ooh, it's a jewel. Do you know one of them like 1800 movies where the guy comes with a glove and he takes it off like that and then he slaps the guy in the face and says outside. That's what Aslan has just done now, is challenged you to a duel. I haven't heard one of those in ages, man. But your opinion on Partey, I 100% agree with. So the duel is off. So that's all good, yeah? You've got a stay of execution. Brett says, I agree, not enough minutes, but we just ain't seeing it. Xhaka is a different sort of player. In other words, a joke, but it's hard when you want him to do well. Yes, really liking African Guna, but bit dramatic, says Shane.
Listen.
Shane, keep coming. You'll see this every week. He's dramatic.
Drama comes out of pure passion and love. See, if I didn't care for this club, I wouldn't be dramatic about it. It's just so important in my life, and it shouldn't be, because it's never going to give me money in my pocket or anything like that. But the love and passion is just off the charts, that I have to be dramatic because it impacts my life. It impacts my weekends. It impacts the girl I date. It impacts a large part of all my life, dude. So, yeah, of course.
Arsenal, it depends on Arsenal's performance. That's what happens. The magic does not happen in the bedroom.
Albert's laughing. Ask him the same question and see what his answer is. He's laughing at me. I bet you we ask him the same question, he says the same thing.
Arsenal can be Viagra, or it could be I don't know what else.
That's a bit deep, but yeah,
yeah.
Nah, man, listen, I'm 25. I have more passion than you guys at your age. You guys have been all through it, right? So I still have a couple 10 more years.
Are we talking about supporting Arsenal here? Yeah, we're talking. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, we're talking about supporting. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
You challenging me to what? Who's got more passion in the bedroom or something like that?
No. I'm just talking about in regards to passion with Arsenal. I think after you've seen so much, you guys have been through more trauma than I have, so kind of over it.
Man, yeah, we have. Do you know what? That's probably what it is. We've seen a lot more of this than you have, Africa. I mean, you probably. I don't know how old you are, Albert. I'm not going to ask you.
I'm 25.
Oh, you're 25. Bloody hell, you answered that quick, Albert. I think you're older than African. I'm imagining
by 15 years or so. Yeah,
21.
It doesn't look.
Yeah,
it doesn't look.
Man.
Mate, listen. I was supporting them from what 80s. Arsenal, so I've seen a lot of trauma. This is trauma. Yeah, I've been through trauma, but at the same time, I've seen 89. I've seen, the other titles of 99, 2000 teams, the 2004s. Do you know what I mean? I've seen some great times. You Africans started supporting us when Wenger came along, and you saw glory years. That's all you saw. So,
well, I was too young for that, to be honest. I mean, I'm born in '96, so to be quite honest, like 2000s, I obviously supported Arsenal, but that's way too young.
You saw the Invincibles.
Yeah, but I was way too young to really,
didn't even enjoy that, did you?
So, I mean, 2006, 2007, I think that would be when I could really say I was obviously, my mind was mature enough to process what was going on, right? So yeah,
and you was too young in Invincibles, but you were running around anyway, probably really passionate,
of course,
all that sort of shit. Yeah, and here we go. Aslan is firing shots at you. Yeah, AG25 supporting Arsenal hasn't been kind to you, bro. I thought you was mid-30s.
I know, Aslan. I've been cursed, man. God cursed me, and like I just have to live with this for the rest of my life.
Very, very good season that was.
That was a massive season 91. That was huge. Nudran says BISSOUMA, ODEGAARD, and a right back. Just any right back. It doesn't matter. He's named the midfielder.
We can't go another season with Tierney.
That's true. We do need a left. Yeah. I mean, left back. Yeah, we do need a left back, and we do need a right back. But anyway, guys, listen in the chats. Please hit your likes and subscribe if you haven't already. We've been going on for an hour and a half. Africans probably gone on for the most of that. But it was all passion, man. I loved it. It meant I didn't have to do as much. Aslan is saying Duncan Dubs, if only Partey and Cazorla. Don't know how you can do that. Go into a time machine. Mark says you're lucky you should have sat through the end of Bertie Mee, Terry Neal era.
I've heard about Neal era. I heard it wasn't good. Not good.
No, it wasn't. But look, as I was saying, smash the likes, people, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to be doing this again on Friday. We'll be better next Friday. We won't have the technical issues that we've had today. We've got a show coming up on Wednesday, a special one, so keep an eye out for that. We've got a special guest coming on, and it'll be something to do with a particular sort of anniversary, should we say. I'm sure you probably guessed it already. So keep an eye on that. Put your notifications on. Make sure you follow Le African Guna. He's passionate. He'll talk for ages about the game, and he's genuinely always right, sometimes wrong, but that's okay. The passion makes up for that. And also, he hasn't mentioned it at all today, but he's AFTV. Keep an eye out for. He's been on AFTV. Been on AFTV at New African. Didn't know that. Did you know that, Albert? He's been on FTV.
No, I didn't know that. I'm gonna look out for him. I'm gonna go find it.
Check it out. To be quite honest, was quite a proud moment for me because I think as an Arsenal fan,
it was good.
You know what I mean? It's one of the platforms that it's a dream and part of bucket list for me. So I was glad to have been on there and obviously gave this wonderful channel a shout out. So hoping that a lot of people.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, one.
Yeah, he did. I've noticed the numbers went down since you appeared on FTV and you come up. I'm joking. No, you did. He gave us a shout, man, and I really appreciate you doing that.
Right, well done.
Jashar says, great stream, guys. Missed the first 40 minutes. Well, listen, speed up the first, just after the intro, just zip past it because I had a technical issue, so ignore that bit. But yeah, thank you for joining us, Jashar.
I have 2 points I want to close out with before we end.
You always got some points, haven't you? He's got points.
The first one is on Pepe and all those, Pepe lovers. Like I said last week, right, that we'd give him a couple more chances. So, I mean, hold your horses. Let's see what he does in the next few weeks, and then we can reassess. And then I want to mention Albert was saying how international break, we get a break from Arsenal, but here he is sitting for 1.5 hours talking about Arsenal. Man, you can never run away from this club. It's always going to be part of your life.
Watching them.
Oh, look, you're still talking about them, right? For an hour and a half.
So when he gets off, he's getting the DVDs out next. When he gets off here, he's going to go and watch the documentary of '89.
I'm going to watch Ian Wright's 100 goals, mate.
And you know what? Unless he watches something like that, he doesn't go to his girlfriends either. He doesn't see them. It affects him just like it affects you. You two are telepathic.
100%.
Your girlfriends depend on your season, but apparently that's what I've been hearing. Hopefully the girls don't get worse as the season gets worse. Oh, there is one. I might as well show. Did you look on the last show? We were talking about Europa with Curtis Shaw and Lee Judges, and he was mentioning Borussia Mönchengladbach. I want to just play you guys a little treat before we go. What his pronunciation of Borussia Mönchengladbach is. I messed it up myself now. And he's also, you should hear it when we've got Hwasim or Ouari calls it. It goes all like, but where? Anyway, this is Borussia Mönchengladbach. But Lee, is that a case of European teams improving now across the board? Because let's be honest, remember back in the days, 5-10 years ago, you play these lower level teams and they were just a walkover.
Yeah, well, of course, but look what Man City have just done to Borussia Mönchengladbach. They just brushed them aside.
Who?
Yeah, to Borussia Mönchengladbach. They just brushed them aside. Who?
Yeah, so that was Borussia Mönchengladbach. So
you gotta love the Judges, man.
Mate, I'm thinking of making him our European football correspondent for Arsenal Lounge. Can you imagine do you remember that meme? You know that meme that's going around, that presenter? I think he's an African presenter, and he's calling out all these names and he's getting them all wrong. You've seen that meme? Yeah. We could do one with Judges. We could just get all these complicated names. Transfer talk. I'm going to get all the worst names we can get and see what the pronunciations are. So that was Borussia Mönchengladbach by Lee Judges. So keep an eye on that.
You got to line it up, Les, man. You got to line that up.
Line that up. We'll have him on with Fabrizio Romano talking about transfers, and we'll have him on definitely for that. That'll be great. So thank you for joining us. And also, Albert JTV, follow him. He's everywhere. Just check any Arsenal podcast. He's there. He's omnipresent. He's becoming omnipresent. Albert TV is everywhere. So Albert JTV, thank you, brother, for coming on again.
No, I appreciate
sorry
it.
for my earlier issues. Hopefully we won't have that next time, but hopefully see you next week. Guys in the chat, thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Levandra. This has been the Arsenal Lounge, and please peace out.